What's up, it's EP, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Nike SB Nyjah Free 2s. Before I give a full review, I just want to let you guys know that I filmed a video a few months ago where I did 100 switch flip variations in this shoe to break them in. So if you guys want, you guys can go watch that video then come back, or you guys can just hear a quick recap. So let's start off with breaking them in. So for me, even after over 100 switch flip variations, I feel like these shoes weren't really broken in. I always skate Nike SBs and breaking them in is usually not an issue for me, but for this particular shoe, it took about a solid 2-3 days to fully break them in versus other SBs an hour or so. To me, this shoe felt half cupsole, half bulk. There's these lines or slits on the sole which I believe is supposed to help with the flexibility. Yeah, I would say it's pretty flexible. And since we're talking about the sole, I want to move on towards the upper. Most of this shoe is rubber. Like I said, this shoe took a lot longer to break in than my other shoes, and I believe it's because the shoe is mostly rubber versus a typical good skate shoe being suede. For me starting out, it was really hard for me to get a good flick with the shoes, but once you get used to the shape, I think the shoe has a pretty decent flick. I had no issues with it. Usually I really like it narrow or pointy towards the toes, kind of like the Janoskis, but I'll say the shoe is pretty decent for flicking once you get used to it. And now let's move on to the grip, where I had no issues. Nothing bad to say about the grip, but I wouldn't say it's spectacular or anything. And since we're talking about the grip, let's talk about board feel. Board feel, it pretty much felt solid the second I started putting the shoe on. As you can see by the way the sole is, towards the toes and the ball of your feet, the sole is a lot thinner than towards the heel, where you want this part to be thicker for the impact. Now let's talk about impact support. For those that know how I skate, I'm not a big stair or rail skater, and I actually don't think I skated any of those with this shoe. The inner part has this like weird squishy thing. I'm not exactly sure if that has anything to do with impact absorption, but it feels pretty nice. Honestly, the only thing I jumped down in this shoe was probably this small drop. If you're more of like the insole guy versus like having a thick sole, I would say get better insoles, because these insoles are super thin. If we're just talking about the insole, really bad, but I think the sole is what gives the better impact support. And you know, by the way, Nyjah skating, I'm sure this shoe has to take some decent impact, right? Let's talk about the tongue. I think it's a perfect thickness. It's not too thick, not too thin. And for breathability, I don't remember it being the best. I think it was okay. Majority of the shoe is rubber, but the parts that aren't rubber has this like weird mesh, and I think that has to do with breathability, which I feel like really didn't do much. Or maybe there's just mesh right here instead of rubber to reduce the weight of the shoe. Now let's talk about durability. I think I skated this shoe about 2 to 3 months. I skated once or twice every week or two. And I'm just gonna say, I think this is the longest lasting shoe I'll ever skate and have skated, and I don't cap, so this is all straight seriousness. As I was saying about the mesh part, this is like the only part that I actually started ripping. I feel like I get a lot of holes around there with ollies, and the only reason I stopped skating these is because I stepped on poop, and I feel like this shoe would have lasted so long to the point where it would just look all wrinkly, all creased everywhere, just dirty and nasty, to the point where I just wouldn't even want to wear them. But it still has a lot of life in them, and I can just imagine this shoe lasting for another solid few months. This is my switch one. I do more switch flips. It was going through the sole, but there's still so much rubber. I would say out of all the cons, the shoelace is the worst. I'm not the biggest fan of double knotting or having to tug my shoelaces inside, but these have to be some of the worst laces ever. They would always come undone. That's why I would have to double knot them. And I'm also not a lace ripper. I don't remember the last time I ripped shoelaces, but this shoe, the laces rip so fast. So yeah, I would recommend shoe going them. Going back to the tongue, I'm not a big fan of like the middle loop thing. I think looks wise it's cool and adds something to it being different from the other Nike skate shoes, but it's just a lot when you have to lace them. But overall, the look of the shoe, I think it looks pretty cool. I think it's one of those shoes that just looks good with everything. You can rock them with pants, shorts. A lot of people, when I do shoe reviews, they ask me how do they fit. I recommend going true to size. If the shoes you're wearing right now, your toes are to the end, I might even recommend going half a size up just to be safe. I do feel like these shoes are just a tiny bit snug than other shoes, but you know, if you're gonna skate in them, sometimes you just sweat a lot and the shoe expands, so you know, kind of go on your judgment. If your shoe expands a lot, just get true to size. And I know Nyjah ones are harder to find and get, but if you're able to acquire them, and if you're debating between the first ones and the second ones, I recommend just going with the twos. I actually have a pair of Nyjah ones. Now it's just there as a collection, I guess. I've actually never been able to put my foot inside of a pair of Nyjah ones. I don't know what it is, but there's something about this shoe. Maybe it's the fact that the tongue is like in one piece with the shoe. So yeah, I'm not trying to do a Nyjah one review. but I definitely recommend the Nyjah 2s. I think it has just the right amount of rubber in the right places, and I honestly think the Nyjah 2 feels a little bit lighter. So if you guys are wondering if I would get this shoe again, yes, I think it's one of the best skate shoes I've ever had. The only cons, the shoelaces and the breaking in time period. I would like to skate another pair. Like I said, the only reason I stopped skating this shoe is because I stepped on poop, and I feel gross touching this shoe right now. If you can get it for a cheaper price, good. But I think for $95, $100, $110, however much it is, honestly think that's a good deal. You're paying what you get for. A lot of shoes are $100 these days, and I think this is one shoe that actually will be worth the money. Hope this review helped. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. That always helps. Thanks, yo. Peace out. And I just want to let you guys know that tomorrow I'm dropping $15 logo tees for the last time. And I'm dropping logo hoodies for the first time in probably 2 years. If you guys want to buy anything, all support helps. Link is in the description below at borderlineworldwide.com. Just want to say thanks for a wonderful year and want to wish you guys happy holidays. Peace.